This episode of the Wayang Crew podcast is brought to you by Times Cineplex. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Wayang Crew podcast. We are back after taking a short hiatus for a couple of weeks. We've been very busy.
Yes.
I think for the last 3 weeks or so since our last episode, but we're back, and with me, of course, is my co-host. It's Del.
Hello.
What's up?
Nothing's up.
It's Sunday.
Yep.
And it's gloomy now.
It was so bright though this afternoon.
It
so
was.
hot. So hot.
But it got better.
Wait, better in terms of less bright?
Better in terms of less hot.
Got it. Then, okay, fine.
Less.
Up next is the host of the podcast. It's Timmy.
Hello.
Welcome back. You've been missing for a while now.
I have.
I'm just tripping. Like,
When was the last time I was on there?
on the last episode of the
Was it?
podcast.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember.
2 episodes ago, I
Yeah.
think we talked about it.
It?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think I watched it with you guys.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a very slow Sunday.
It's a very slow Sunday,
Just
and
wanted
we've
to
been out of this for a couple of weeks now, so we're just getting back into it. This week we'll be giving you a review of the much anticipated Joker, a movie which is, I guess, splitting people left, right, and center. We'll talk about that more as we get to the review later on. But first, it's the news, guys, and there were a couple of trailers that were launched this week for everyone to see. First up, we got a Birds of Prey trailer. Did you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nothing interesting. It's
Really?
It's just what's her face?
Margot Robbie.
Yes, it's just Margot Robbie.
It's not just Margot Robbie. She's Margot Robbie.
Yeah, but it's like I don't see anything new. I'm not like okay, it's Margot Robbie turning into Harley Quinn.
It's not turning into. I think she's becoming.
Oh wait, yes,
She's becoming her own independent kind of woman, kind of thing. It was a very strong theme, and it does seem like she's no longer with the Joker. Like there's been a bad breakup of some sort, and it's a bunch of female Gotham City residents and criminals banding together to.
I'll watch it, but I don't have any high expectations.
Problem is, we didn't see any banding of
Yeah,
the team coming together. We didn't see any of that. We only saw Harley Quinn talking with
a lot of people.
individually,
Yeah,
and there's no team. From the title, I would have expected a team. I would have expected like a shot of all of them together in action or something.
like a team fight.
Yeah, but
5
then
second or something.
there's nothing. It's very disappointing, this trailer.
Kind of like the Suicide Squad trailer a little bit. I mean, it does carry the same kind of themes in terms of color and the way it looks.
Actually, no.
No?
This feels more like the Joker trailer.
I felt that it was like there was a lot of color, and it was still visually similar to Suicide Squad because you had like her costume and
The color palette is
more similar to okay.
I guess it has to be because Suicide Squad is coming up, so it has to link to that one.
I don't know. I'm not excited for it.
You're not excited for it?
No.
You're not. I mean, even though it's actually called Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. No?
No.
This is going to be a Harley Quinn centric movie. I mean, we can see that already.
Like when Suicide Squad trailer came out back then, I enjoyed that more than this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep. So doesn't bode well for this movie. Let's see if this next trailer tickles your fancies a little bit. Matthew McConaughey is in this new movie with a slew of like other actors, and it's called The Gentleman. Like we just watched this just before we hit record, and I'm surprised at the level of star power that they have in this movie. We have people who are playing roles totally out of their wheelhouse. Like one example is Hugh Grant, who in the 90s and the early 2000s
Rom-com.
was the rom-com king. Like he couldn't do a movie where he was not a rom-com guy. Yeah. And in here, he plays like a thug and he talks like, yeah, you gotta have this meeting with this guy.
Maybe he's like Jackie Chan, like no more action movie, I want to be serious, but this is no more rom-com, I want to be in an action movie.
No more rom-com.
No, he has a new series, and he plays a very serious character as well.
Oh.
Very much like this one. I haven't seen it, but I saw that he was nominated for the Emmys. This trailer, though, it's really, I think it's very intriguing because you have the director going back to what he started with.
Guy Ritchie, by the way. Guy Ritchie. It does have the same feel of like Snatch.
Mm-hmm.
Also the same sort of color palette, like very grayish, grimy, dirty, crime-ridden London kind of thing.
Yeah.
Charlie Hunnam's in this movie. Henry Goulding's in this movie. Sarawak boy represent.
Hey, my mom's from Sarawak.
I'm excited for this movie. It looks good, and I can't wait to see it.
Not sure. Too much star power doesn't necessarily bode well.
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, but that's different. Like, what's the movie inside the train? There was so many stars.
Train to Busan?
Oh, no. The one with Rey from Star Wars and with...
Yeah. Was that Leonardo DiCaprio?
The murder mystery movie.
Yes.
The Perot character.
Yeah, so that wasn't... I don't know. It was under the radar.
I can't remember the name now, but it was like...
Kenneth Branagh's...
It was like an Agatha Christie novel thing. All right. We also got an extended look. It's not a trailer. It is a trailer technically, but not for the American market. It's for the South American market because most of the voiceovers and the narration is in Spanish. It's for Terminator Dark Fate. And we see a lot more than what we see in the American trailers that we got. I think it's because maybe they're just trying to convince more people to come see this movie. And I noticed something in the trailer. Tencent Pictures is attached as one of the production houses. So they're ramping up for this to try and do really well in China. That's for sure.
I'm just waiting for the Chinese dubbed version trailer extended look.
I'll be back. 我过来,我过来.
我过来.
But this extended look good, man. Like it's not Terminator 3 level bad. It does look promising, and I want to see it.
So far, this new Terminator. It looks good. It looks good.
It's coming out really soon. We've got about maybe 2 weeks to go.
Okay.
Before it comes out. Early November.
That's good.
It's good. All right. Are you excited for this?
Yeah. I mean, I was excited even before this trailer came out. So I was like, is that Spanish?
Yeah, you asked. Is it dubbed in Spanish? I said, no, just the narration.
Oh, okay. And then I was like, yeah, I'm still going to watch it.
All right. James Bond, which is played by Daniel Craig, they wrapped filming about 2 weeks ago while we were not doing the podcast because of other various reasons. There was like a big blowout party where he was very happy that, look, I'm finally done with this character. Thank you so much. And we got a poster for the next movie, which is No Time to Die. It's a poster. It's a James Bond film. It's just him.
Unless they throw money at him again, then he'll be like, okay, fine, one more if you insist.
Right. This is coming out in April of next year. Do you think there'll be like a huge shift within that James Bond universe where they'll drop the bomb and be like, ooh, this is what has happened, and end it on like a super high note?
Drop the bomb?
I don't know. Like maybe he dies.
Oh.
Or he retires. Or it's not a cliffhanger. It's like, did he die or did he retire? Yeah.
I don't know. This is they are going to. They have already started looking for the next James Bond, I'm sure.
As long as in the movie there's no sidekick that's going to be the next James Bond. It's like, no.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the last news episode between Dale and myself, and there was some rumors that, the studio was kind of looking at maybe having a female James Bond. We talked about it. I want to get your thoughts on this.
No offense, but get a different agent that's originally a female.
Like Jane Bond.
Yeah. Like James Bond, other partner. I don't know. Like, come up with a story. An origin story, maybe like Jane Bond or something. Like, maybe. Just don't, like, he's a guy.
Or maybe promote like Moneypenny from the current James Bond universe and promote her to like a 00 agent.
Yeah, maybe when she was young. I don't know. Like, find some. I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, just make
What would you feel if there was a character that was female at first, and then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna cast a guy in it? It doesn't feel right?
We just like to point out that TB does not represent the thoughts and views of the whole Wayang Crew podcast. These are his views only.
Yeah. I'm not saying female actress are bad. I'm just saying that it's a character, it's a guy character, and the guy should.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, just come up with another female character that does what James Bond does.
Yeah.
Instead of having her related or having her name related to the Bond name.
Yeah.
Just do Charlie's Angels.
Which is coming out
Which they're
soon.
doing.
All right.
Yeah. Call it 008.
Have another peppermint movie.
Oh. Here's something which I want to get your thoughts on. Now, I'm a big fan of the View Askew universe, Kevin Smith's universe, and his various movies, including Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and Clerks 1 and 2. 2 not so much. He has just announced that he's going to be doing a Clerks 3. I don't know.
I've never watched Clerk.
Never?
Never. I watched Jay and Silent Bob, not Clerk.
Clerk 1 and 2 are good. Clerks, okay, why not? Clerks 3. He's doing the new sequel for Jay and Silent Bob already, so it's only a matter of time, I think, to go back into Clerks. But the second movie ended so well, though.
Yeah, it was like, was it Dante? No, not Dante, the other guy. He found true love, and instead of marrying this girl, he marries this other girl who actually loves him, and it was a nice ending. So I don't know where they're going to take this story, but it is going to be in Red Bank, New Jersey again, that's for sure, because that's his hometown. I say maybe include more characters from the View Askew universe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll
Crossover.
see. Crossover. Maybe.
What's that guy's name who is in How I Met Your Mother?
Nathan Fillion?
No, that's not
The
that.
guy-
No, wait. I mean Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes, Neil Patrick
Nathan
Harris.
Fillion.
Yeah, maybe he should be in this movie as a recurring cast or character.
Really?
I don't know.
Because a lot of the people who appear in Kevin Smith movies tend to be either not like huge stars and then he asked them to be in the movie, but they were friends before they became huge stars, like Ben Affleck. Like, they grew up together, apparently.
Oh.
So,
I don't know. I just liked his character when he was in Jay and Silent Bob.
True.
The character as himself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Clerks 3. If it comes out, I'll watch it for sure because it's part of that universe that I liked. Here's something which I'm not sure if I am going to watch now because Gemini Man, which is the latest project by Ang Lee and stars Will Smith playing two roles, an older self, meaning himself, and a younger version of himself. And it's like a breakthrough for CG where they de-age him through the whole movie. It looked okay, the trailer. The premise was intriguing enough. But I just found out that the idea for this movie was actually put up in like the 90s and they couldn't really do the movie until technology caught up. So now that it has, they've made the movie and the reviews have not been kind to this movie. Its Rotten Tomato score is terrible. Like 20.
Yeah, but how viewer score? What was it?
Not yet, because it hasn't been released
okay.
yet.
Yeah, I'll believe viewer score more. Like even if the movie's bad, if I still enjoy it, I'll still probably watch it.
Okay.
It's like, Fast Furious. Like Rotten Tomatoes might be very bad, but people enjoy watching it. I don't know. Is there a movie where one guy acted as two person has gotten a really good review?
Yeah.
Like what?
I think
Dr. Dolittle didn't.
you mean the what's that? The Medea doesn't tickle your fancy?
Oh, yeah. There's like a whole slew of movies. Like a Medea Family Funeral, a Medea Halloween.
Yeah, but those were rated quite terribly, to be honest. When I saw this trailer for Gemini Man, a few of them, even though the premise looked interesting, but there has always been something that's like nagging behind me. Like this doesn't really look that good. The the action sequences as well, like with the motorbike slamming into. Why did he just stand there and let the bike come towards him? That's always been in my mind. But then also the technology of the younger self, the way that he speaks, the way that the mouth moves.
Looks weird, right?
Looks weird. Looks like Superman in Justice League. It does. It's like they tried removing his mustache, and then that's why the lips are weird.
I've never been a fan of one actor acting as two characters. Type of person. Like,
Let me try and find something that in the past that has been.
whenever I
done
see
well.
someone is doing that, it's like, okay, he's trying too hard. He's trying to prove something. He's still
Relevant. and,
relevant.
He's like
type of
still
thing.
young and.
I got it. Parent Trap. She did well.
Yeah, but they were the same age.
Yes.
And also multiplicity.
Yes. Multiplicity.
They didn't need like costume, fat suit, or anything. She's playing as two person. Okay, fine. I'll accept it.
Eddie Murphy,
Yeah, I never liked all that.
Nutty
all of
Professor franchise.
Didn't like it.
He played like 7 characters.
Yeah.
the bad reviews.
Hercules.
Hercules. Okay.
No,
Disney has ordered a live-action movie for Inspector Gadget. Wasn't there one with Matthew Broderick?
Mm-hmm.
And it was really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was around the time of like Flubber and all that, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
like still CDs, VCDs.
VCDs.
Yeah. I don't. It's not relevant anymore in this day and age where we have mobile phones.
Yep.
Because back then his whole body is like a mobile phone.
And he had like a helicopter on his hat, and it would come
Yeah.
out, and it was cool as a kid. But I don't think it
Yeah.
translates well anymore.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know who decided this would be a good idea.
Yep. It's like the $1 Million Man.
Well, to be fair, Disney has been very well known to greenlight projects, and then they come out and they don't do well, and it doesn't affect Disney at all because they've got so much money.
Because they have Marvel, which makes on average $1 billion per movie.
On average,
On average.
depending on how long it's running. Speaking of Disney, there was some big news this week. A couple of weeks ago, the big news was that Spider-Man, i.e. Tom Holland, is no longer in the MCU, and Sony is pulling him back because some deals went bad, and Sony came out and said, yep, it's over. The deal is done and dusted. That wasn't the case because there were some rumors, and we talked about it, and Dell got a bit heated. It's like, what? I thought it was over. Like, there's this
Yeah.
rumor now, and apparently those rumors are now true. Because Spider-Man is back in the MCU. Disney and Sony have worked out a deal. I'm not going to go into specifics of the deal, but essentially it's going to be a 50-50 thing moving forward.
And I knew this was going to happen. When people were like, no, Spider-Man's not going to be in the MCU anymore. It's like, chill. He is going to be. Stop sending me like WhatsApp messages.
Memes and stuff.
And it was like, no, it's not over until Tom Holland dies.
I like this this hindsight TV.
Yeah. You should exercise this a bit more and give us the lowdown on other things. To me, I always knew that there was going to be a compromise somehow. There's just too much at stake here. And I fully believe that fan demand and fan power is a thing now. And the general outcry when it was announced that Tom Holland and Spider-Man are no longer in the MCU, and people just lost their minds. They went crazy. And it's just nice to see like these big corporations taking the fans into consideration, going, okay, look, like we need to make this work somehow. Let's sit down and talk again.
I'm not sure if that's how it went in the meeting.
Yeah. Problem is, after the whole deal fell apart, Disney came out kind of like unscathed because everyone thought Sony was the bad guy. Sony didn't want to make the deal happen with Disney. But when in actual fact, Disney was the one that strong-armed Sony into wanting 50% of everything, including the movies that are not Spider-Man related, including Venom 2.
Yep.
So what's the new deal now? I want to know what happened. I want to know what the details are. I want to see if Disney, once again, is being a bully because I'm very much okay with Spider-Man going back into Sony and start his own universe with Venom and Kraven and Sinister Six and all that. But then now that again has been delayed, and then now we will have like Venom in...
Maybe they want Venom to be in the MCU.
But that's the thing. What is the detail of this deal? Did Marvel also get 50% of Venom? Which,
or did they get permission to use him in their
it depends.
movies?
It depends like how Disney made this deal with Sony, because even though I didn't like Venom, the first one, it still made a lot of money for them, and they proved that they can stand on their own 2 feet. They don't need Marvel to come in. But now Marvel wants everything else, even though, rightfully these characters belong to Marvel. But then still, I want to see what the details of this deal is, so that, I don't want to support big corporation that is bullying the underdog.
The little guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned that Sony, you wanted to see Sony to get back the character and do something interesting with him. I mean, and they've proven themselves with the release of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They've got some great writers in there, and it was, I mean, the thing won an Oscar.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Best Animated is not something that is very huge, but...
an Oscar is an Oscar.
An Oscar is an Oscar, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Best costume.
Best makeup.
Suicide Squad won an Oscar.
Did they?
Yeah.
Best makeup or something.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the news this week on the Wayang Crew podcast. If you want to get in touch with us here on the show, check us out on our social media, links down below in the description. And up next, it's our review of Joker, which is played by Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips. This is a very different take on the Joker. I don't know. Let's pass it off to like Del. Let's just start off with the review. Maybe a very brief description of what the movie is.
It's the fall of his humanity, and you see him just go down deeper and deeper, like drowning, but not really drowning, because at the end of the day, he becomes the Joker for real. And it's such a real take on a comic book character that it doesn't feel like this story took place in the fictional city of Gotham. So it's like I see this as like somewhere in Manhattan, and the way that everything is portrayed is so real. Like this could happen tomorrow, and it could be somebody right now in New York having this kind of issues in his personal life, and it's not entirely his fault because of how he was abused in his childhood, and you really feel for the character, but at the same time you can see how dark a person can go, and what his situation will affect his own character and become somebody so purely evil. And I thought this was one of the best origin story comic book has ever given us. And kudos to the director for creating a tone that is it's so much like Taxi Driver, but it's from beginning until the end, it's just one tone, and it's just one focus on the character, a character study of this person, and a beautiful portrayal by Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's gonna win the Oscar for this one. If no backlash ever happens, I think he's a sure thing.
Okay. Tibi, your thoughts on the movie?
I don't know. I mean, if you're into superhero movies and wanting to see action stuff on this movie, no, it's not gonna happen. It's probably like 5% of the movie. So
this movie is like a slow burn.
Yeah,
like it really is a slow burn.
You really have to go through all the conversation, all the slow talks, all the emotions that's running to his mind, what he's going through. I think this is more of a depiction of people with mental
issues,
mental issues. And as I think like society now don't really see how they go through their daily life. And I think if you watch this movie, you would understand a little bit more, especially with people who have mental disorders and issues. And I think people should watch it to understand it more, like, because we can see how Joker was actually a nice guy early in the beginning, like just bad things just keep happening to him, where then he decides, nope, society has failed me, and I'm just gonna do whatever I want and make things better in his point of view.
Yeah. I think that's a good summation. I like what Del mentioned, which was the journey of one man's descent into essentially madness. Because this movie, like what you just mentioned, he starts off being kind of a regular guy. He's got a job. His job is that he's a clown, and no one takes him seriously. He gets beat down. He gets abused. He's
gets
even
lied to.
Yeah, he gets lied to. Although the twist at the end sort of makes me question whether that actually happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things may just happen in his own head.
A lot of things may have happened in his head. So whether that actually happened or whether he perceived that was how it was, we'll sort of never know. There was the whole...
I think it did, because all the TVs showed what happened.
Depends on what you're referring to and what he's referring to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was live on TV and everything.
Not at the kids' party.
Not a kid's party.
Wait. No, the kids' party did happen.
I was talking about the conversation that he had with his
Murray.
colleague.
His
colleague, whether or not
whether he gave him...
whether he was given or whether he bought it, So,
okay. That one.
And then I have to give props to Joaquin Phoenix, because I think that he's been sort of preparing for this role for a while now, because we've talked about him on the show before, where he at one point in his career was just like doing random mad things, appearing on talk shows in character and just blowing off the host and being all weird. And it's like, I'm not Joaquin, I'm someone else. I'm like, whoa, this is like super method. And it sort of paid off. And he went through some physical change as well for this movie. He's super skinny.
Yep.
So he lost a bunch of weight, which kind
a lot of weight.
Which even convinces us, the viewer, more of what he's going through. I mean, it's not just a mental thing now; it's a physical thing. Your comment about how his view of the world now is skewed because he's been through so much abuse. He's been beaten down for most of his life. And we even saw that, this is a minor spoilers here, but he found out memories that he probably suppressed as a child. And then, being lied to by the mother. And, the world does not make sense to him. And here's a guy who says, look, this is how my world is. I'm going to dictate what I say. Yeah. You mentioned Taxi Driver. And yes, I agree with you totally. Like, there were so many cues in this movie that just reminded me of Taxi Driver. If you have not watched Taxi Driver, it stars Robert De Niro as also a man who falls into this pattern of madness, and at the end of it is a totally different person. This could have been a Taxi Driver movie. Just remove the Joker name. Yeah. And it's the same story. Yes. There was no, I would say, tangible attachments to the DC franchise.
No.
And this was expected because we talked about this like last year, that this is like an art piece that is just trying to tell one story. It's not a big budget thing. I think the budget was only about $50 million. And I think they succeeded because they managed to show a part of Gotham which we have not seen for a while, which is that dirty, grimy thing. And as you said, Del, it kind of reminds you of not just Gotham. It's more of like a normal Manhattan city where this could really happen.
Would you want to see a sequel to this?
I don't think this movie should have a sequel because of the way it ends, and the movie itself does not give you all the answers straight. There's, like we just discussed about the gun issue, whether or not it was given, or whether or not he bought it, or whether or not he took it. Yeah. And I think there's an advantage to the audience guessing. Like, did we just watch that? Like, two of us could have watched the same thing, but we got different things.
Yeah.
And then there was that whole Fight Club situation thing where it was clearly explained that it was all in his head.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I can say about this movie, one of the things that I did not like was that you could see where the movie was going.
Yes.
You could call it like beat for beat, and it wasn't like a big surprise. So I'm not sure where all the praises are coming from. Like,
Apart from his acting.
like the so-called 8-minute standing ovation that it supposedly got at the Venice Film Festival. I mean, yeah, I can't clap for 8 minutes. Like, I don't know how that happened.
Have you ever clapped for 8 minutes in your life?
No.
Not in one go.
Yeah, in one go. Yeah, that's why.
And reviewers were pouring their hearts out for this movie, saying that it's like the best depiction of the Joker. I'm like, yes, but if you watch again Taxi Driver, this is like a beat for beat thing. Like, it's too similar to me.
If you have to criticize the Fast and the Furious, that very first movie, how it was a copy of Keanu Reeves and
Point Break.
Yeah. If you're gonna criticize that, then you would have to criticize this one as well. But then not all the reviews that came out are positive, because I'm starting to see the negative ones. So that's why I'm a bit hesitant to say Joaquin will win for sure Best Actor, because of all these negativity that are coming out as well. Like, there are also reports about how this could incite
more violence and
in US, just in US. So
this is the controversy part of the whole thing, because part of the appeal of this movie came about because everyone was split. Like, we had one side gushing over it, going, this is the greatest depiction of a superhero thing in that universe ever. It's so real, it's so gritty. And then on the flip side, you have all these activists and all these people who are concerned, saying that this could like inspire people to actually do things. And yes, you are right. There are a couple of articles and reports that when this movie screened earlier in the week in a couple of places in the US, there was like a huge police presence. I think there was even a few that were cancelled because of a severe threat that they thought might have happened during the screening. They didn't want a repeat of The Dark Knight Rises, where someone very tragically went into a cinema full of people and began shooting.
Was it Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises?
Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess this movie is what it is. I think it's a good effort from Warner Brothers and the DCEU in general, although they have publicly stated this is not part of the DCEU.
Yeah.
It can't be, yeah.
It's a standalone. We see a young Bruce Wayne. We once again see the demise of his father, Thomas Wayne, and his mother in that alley outside of the theater.
The little boy is a terrible actor.
Yeah.
That was one of the downsides of this movie.
I think this is like the sixth time that we've seen this depiction of this tragic event in Batman's life. Every origin has it. Anything else we can say about this movie?
It's difficult to watch. I wouldn't go back to it for a second time anytime soon. Because of how, it's like you said, descent into madness. Yeah. And the descent started in like basement 1, not like from ground floor or level 2, and it started from underground already, and it went even further.
Deeper.
So it's not easy to watch, but I enjoyed it for the first time for what it was, and like if TB, like you said, you asking if this could have a sequel. I think a sequel would have to definitely have Batman in it.
Yeah,
because I don't think anyone would want to watch this again without Batman.
And it would have to have like a brief hiatus between that, like at least 20 years, because we saw a kid who I'm gonna assume is like 9, maybe 15 years. He's 24, then he assumes the role of Batman. So there's going to be a lot of time there. And I don't know, I'm not sure
if the Joker's going to be young enough.
Well, that, and also...
He's not that old. He could be like 30.
Yeah.
So when he's facing Batman, he could be 50, 45, 50, yeah. Still doable. Joker never was about physical prowess. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's do our ratings. Del, what do you give Joker?
I'll give it 9 crying laughs out of 10.
Yeah. Apparently he researched that and he watched people with that mental disability.
Wow.
Who couldn't control their laughter. I think it's called like chronic laughter.
That was difficult to watch.
It was very difficult to watch.
Crying laugh, yeah.
Tibi?
I'm gonna give it 8 face masks out of 10 because I still think it's a beautiful art piece as a movie, but it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. I'm going to give this movie 7.5 Batmans because we got none of them in this movie. It is beautifully shot.
Yep.
It has a story to tell, although the story might have been told before, maybe not in the context of this superhero universe. This is a dark, gritty movie, and you do not bring your kids to this. This is strictly an adult film. There are themes in this movie that may make some people very uncomfortable. I, for one, got a little bit uncomfortable with the parts where, it was like he's talking about his mother and this and that. I was like, whoa, this is like a real issue here for a lot of people. So it might be a bit hard to watch, but it is a good movie. If you are a fan of the DCEU or anything DC, this is a good insight. But I will not say that this is a definitive version of this character, the Joker. All right, so that's our review. And our last bit of the show is, of course...
Oi, apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat? Hoi, 看什么看? Apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat?
你看什么看?
Apa liat-liat? See what see? Xiao liao.
It's Apa Liat Liat, and it's what else we've been watching besides Joker this week. Del, Apa Liat Liat.
I saw Ad Astra,
How was
and
that?
I really liked it.
I watched that too.
It's not what I expected. The trailer couldn't tell much, and rightfully so, because otherwise it would give away the third act, which was a nice reveal. And I thought, before watching Joker, I thought Brad Pitt was gonna win the Oscar because I really liked his portrayal here. I think he has a very good year with this one and also Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So if he's lucky, he'll get nominated twice.
Nice.
But this is also another very slow burn.
Yep.
But I think it's worth watching. I really liked it.
I did not catch that. I was wanting to watch it, and then there was like so much to do, so I had to skip it.
Still, it's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. as well.
Yeah.
Like kids, like my nephews, and I wouldn't enjoy it.
Okay.
I definitely think they wouldn't enjoy it.
So what would they enjoy? Apa liat tip.
I'm not sure if they would enjoy this, but I watched The Ranch Part 6 and Part 7.
Oh,
the
you're a big
series.
fan of The Ranch.
Yeah, it's a good series.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
I cried a lot in Part 6
Okay.
because there was a plot twist in there in Part 6. Someone was no longer.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Heavy
yeah,
stuff.
Heavy stuff. Yeah.
Don't cry. You need tissue?
No, I think like for 4 episodes, it was so sad.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nothing else. I think because I'm just too busy doing other stuff.
Okay.
So it's right now. It's just the ranch.
The Ranch. Okay. I managed to catch 2 movies this week here at home because they're out on digital. I watched Stuber, which is the what's his name?
Drax.
Kunal Nanjiani and
Oh.
yes, Drax, as you mentioned. All right. It's one of those movies where it's like a watch one time kind of thing, and after a while, it just gets annoying.
Is this the one that got taken down in cinemas?
It got it got pushed back to a later date, I think.
Okay.
But it was still released, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Anyway, it's okay. If I had to give it a rating, it'd be like a 6 out of 10, maybe. I also watched a movie called Can You Keep a Secret, which stars Alexander Daddario. It's a very typical rom-com love story thing, and also another maybe 5 out of 10. It's not it's not like super great.
I don't know why she keeps doing these lousy movies. These rom-com.
Maybe that's
She's
the only
better
one.
than this.
Maybe that's the only one she's been offered to.
I can't believe that's real. That's true, but so disappointing.
Because she actually is a good actor.
Yeah.
We've seen
She's done a lot of things.
she's done like actual serious roles, but
Yeah.
she gets
And then now she's doing rom-com.
oh well. It all started with Baywatch. That's
Worst movie of that year.
all right. So that's the episode this week. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me, Del and Tibby. Next week we may be giving you a review of Gemini Man. Although, well, it's not looking good for that movie, but we'll see. We'll see you on the next episode of the podcast. Bye. much.